Hey BookTube, it's Jackie. How's it going? If you're new to me and this is the first time you're seeing my face, hello, what's up? My name's Jackie. I sit on my floor and I talk about books. So, hope that's why you're here because that's what's going to be happening today. If you're not new to me, thank you for always tuning in. The continued support, I really do appreciate it. So, day for you, this is coming to you exactly a week late. This is my week 7 weekly wrap up. Yes, I know it is coming to you guys late. I got really sick when I was supposed to film it, and I never really got over that sickness until about the middle of last week. So I'm filming it now, and then I'll be doing my weekly, my week 8 weekly wrap up. You'll be seeing later on this week. So we'll get back on track that way. But if you'd like to find out what I was occupying my time between February 11th and February 17th and all my reading shenanigans in between, grab yourself a drink, have yourself a seat, because we got some books to talk about. Okay. So, again, apologize. It's coming to you guys late. I'm getting over being sick. You can still kind of hear it. So I do apologize if I sound weird. Sorry. Gotta love this weird weather that we are having lately over here. It's like 30 degrees in the morning, and by the afternoon it's 65, and then the next day it's -2, and then it's 60 the following day. It's dumb. It's dumb. But let's get talking some books. So the first book I read was Golden Bloodlines by Richard Moorman. Looks like this. I hate to say this, but I DNF'd a book already. I DNF'd one. I DNF'd one last week. And it was this one. This was one of my Readsy Discovery books. So it really killed me to DNF this book. I read this thing to 85%. I was 85% of the way done with this, and I couldn't do it anymore. This was not, and the reason I DNF'd it was because if I reviewed it, I'm not the person to review this book. It's historical fiction. It's generational telling. You'd think it'd be up my alley. It is. However, the way the author wrote the story, he didn't write it in a novel form. He wrote it in a screenplay. I feel like I was reading the novel adaptation of a screenplay, and that's just not what I want to bring to you guys. So that's one of the reasons I DNF'd it. And I couldn't get over the screenplay. Great screenplay. If this thing was a show, totally watch it. Totally would have watched it in a heartbeat. But for a book, it wasn't cutting it for me. It just wasn't cutting it. So, and it killed me to do it because I don't like DNFing books. I genuinely do not like doing it. And you guys know I don't. But I just was not feeling it. There was other stuff I wanted to read. So that's what happens. However, this thing was worth everything. This thing was great. I listened to Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver. Looks like this. This is great. So let's break this into it. First installment of the Ruinous Love trilogy. The sequel, Leather and Lark, is actually due to come out June 4th of 2024. Was not on my most anticipated releases, but now it is. So I will be definitely doing an updated anticipated release video for like the second part of the year, and this one's going to be on it. I did listen to an audio, and the audiobook was done by Joe Arden and Lucy Rivers, two narrators that I just fucking love. Lucy Rivers, she did The Queen's Gambit. I didn't think she was great in that, but for that storyline, I thought she did a good job, but I just wanted a different, I pictured a different voice for my heroine in that story. But Joe Arden took the cake on this. This thing was, so excited. Oh my God. So a lot of dark humor in this one, a lot of dark humor. We do have a huge trigger list. This is just a few of them, so please check your trigger warnings. We have murder, child abuse off page, graphic sexual content, a pierced heroin, very, very slow burn, friends to lovers, and accidental cannibalism. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It was great. So, quick summary. We have Blackbird, who is a serial killer of serial killers. She finds other serial killers and kills them. And on a hunt, she gets trapped and rescued by accident by the Butcher, who is also another serial killer of serial killers. And he rescues her by accident because he's going to kill the same guy, and he happens to find her in a cage that accidentally shut after she killed the guy. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Now, Butcher, who is also known as Rowan, he is enamored with Blackbird as soon as he sees her. As soon as he sees her. And Blackbird, who's also known as Sloane, just wants out. Well, he lets her out and they go out to lunch, and he does not want to let her leave. He's just he falls first. This is a he falls first book, and it was great. So he asks for a game. Once a year they meet and they have a target, and the first person to get said target, or serial killer, wins. She agrees. So for over 4 years, this book spans about 4 years, we get to see multiple times of meeting up for this game, multiple innuendos, multiple inside jokes, bunch of flirtation, all the tomfoolery, all the overly flirtatiousness of behavior of these friends that will start to realize that they are more than friends, and maybe one day could possibly be more friends, and then maybe turn into something more than friends. So we also have a friends to lovers aspect in this, a very slow burn friends to lovers. This was a good fucking time. This was a great time. So what worked? The audiobook. Hands down, that was fire. Oh, so fucking good. Joe Arden, is amazing. Okay, the man's voice is just like butter. All right, it's butter. But he does an Irish accent the entirety of this book, and I'm just like, putty in this man's hands. I'm just like, this is amazing. I was smiling ear to ear for majority of this book, especially when he was talking. And the audiobook is not just one chapter is Rowan, the next chapter is Sloane. It is alternate back and forth, but they do have a conversational style audiobook. So when he is speaking, it's his voice, even if it's her chapter. So I really, really enjoyed that. This back and forth. It made me feel like I was like actually in it, especially the sex scenes, because they do the sex scenes that way too, and that's fucking dope. It was so good. This audiobook made this book for me. I think this book would have still been strong without the audiobook, but this thing was fire with the audiobook. I had such a good fucking time with it. The banter in this book between Blackbird and Butcher, so good. I love a good ribbing story back and forth, because me and my husband, we talk shit to each other all the time, and they were doing nothing but talking shit and trying to one-up each other, and it reminded me so much of me and my husband, not the serial killer killing part, but just the dark humor and the banter, the dark ribbing. It was great. I was in my element with this. I was in my fucking element, and it was awesome. I could not get enough of the conversations. I wanted more time with these people together. I liked them by themselves. I liked them when they were together. I liked them in their internal monologues. I liked when they were talking about each other and they weren't there. I liked everything when these people were talking. Bryn Reaver's dialect and dialogue was on point with these characters, and then it was conveyed even more badassery when you have Joe Arden and Lucy Rivers giving their voices and their talents to it. It was just, gold. Fucking gold. It was so good. I had such a good time with it. So good. I loved the balance that this book had with the sweet and spice moments. So we do handle some dark stuff. I mean, we're talking about serial killers falling in love over killing people. And we get some graphic descriptions of some of these. And these two characters do not have the nicest backstories. There is some serious trauma on both sides that we do get brought to the forefront a little bit. So to have these super serious moments turn into these sweet connective moments between these two was just, it was so well done. She did such a good fucking job with that. And then you you gotta go triple down on this and throw some spice on top of it. So now you've taken something dark and sinister and depressing and angry and cruel and cold and mean and scarring and turn it into this sweet, connective, moldable moment where these two come together and they can heal together through their mutual tortured pain. And then it turns into this spicy, explosive, fuck me, I'm yours. Yes, daddy, I want another kind of situation. It was fucking gold. It was gold. She hit the fucking trifecta. This bitch hit the trifecta. She gave me the dark, she gave me the humor, she gave me the love, she hit it all. Fucking gold. Gold. Loved it. Loved it. It was so good. Speaking of spice, the sexual tension in this book. Oh my God. So this is a very slow burn, okay? It is. But it's not a slow burn that you can't tolerate. Like, it's not like snail pace. It is slow because she is building it. But every building block gives you more and just builds and builds and builds until you are literally ready to explode. And then that moment happens and you're like, oh my God, that was fucking awesome. Abso-fucking-lutely, yes. All the fucking yes. All the fucking yes. Abso-fucking-lutely. Amazing. Sign me the fuck up. That, just the tension, the way she built it and how she did, because she did it layer by layer by layer. We have fear building with the sexual tension. We have humor building the sexual tension. We have unknown building the sexual tension. We just have the general description of these two characters together building sexual tension. We have the murdering and then adrenaline and hormones going, and we're all seeing it and just, getting wet just thinking about it. So good. So good. And then you have Joe Arden fucking saying this shit in your ear in an Irish accent. Damn. just damn. I got nothing. Like, just along for the ride and hold the fuck on. That's all I gotta say, because it's worth it. I also really enjoyed the concept of the story. I thought the two serial killers falling in love over a serial killer competition was cool shit. I thought that was a really unique concept. It was interesting. Not only is Blackbird and Butcher both very multi-dimensional, deep kind of characters, we have other characters that have just many facets. Even our serial killers that they're killing, we get to learn a little bit about them, and it's just kind of unique. And it was a very unique cast of characters that I really, really enjoyed, and I wanted to live in this world. I like this world she created. I like the characters she created. I had a really good time in this. Really, really good time. Dark humor, by the way, I already mentioned it. Dark humor is one of my things. It's actually what attracted to me to my husband, off the bat originally, because we're both very, very dark humor people. It was all through it. I could not get enough. Could not get enough of the humor Brynn Weaver was spewing in this book, and it was great. And the audiobook delivery of these jokes, fire, spot on. Couldn't touch it. Couldn't touch it. Rowan. Like, I love Rowan from Throne of Glass. Don't get me wrong. But this is another Rowan that I'm in love with now. I love the Butcher. I love him. He's hilarious. He's such a fucking idiot. I love it. He reminded me so much of my husband. I couldn't not laugh at half of his shit because it's all stuff my husband would do. Especially the accidental cannibalism scene. That was priceless, dude. I could not get enough of that. That was such a good time. I definitely had a good time with him. I loved the character that was created, and I also like how well he was brought to life. I wish this guy was real. I really, really fucking do. And also, he's a chef. So, any fucker that can cook. I mean, I'm a bitch that can eat. So, yeah, give me some fucking food. I love it. I love it. It was great. There was only really one thing that didn't really work for me in this book. And by the way, there's a lot more other stuff that worked in this book. This one is definitely something you want to check out. It's a good time. It's a good time for sure. Especially if you like dark humor. If you like dark humor and you like spice and a little bit of fear, gold. Little gory. Might want to warn you about that one. It's a little gory, but yeah, no, it was great. Had a great time with it. But what didn't work, they get into a little bit of Sloane's backstory of kind of how she came about becoming a serial killer. And truth be told, I didn't give a shit. Her MO and her way of being a serial killer was so unique and so interesting. Her serial killer name is not Blackbird. It's actually the Orb Weaver. And what she does is so artistic that I kind of wish it would have just been because she genuinely wanted to do it. Because it would have felt more authentic to me. Having her have a reason how she got into this other than just the pure enjoyment of it. Now, the pure enjoyment of it is what's kept her in it. But how she fell into this, it just didn't jive well with me. It didn't sit well with me. And I don't really know why, because it worked for her character. I just didn't care. I loved Rowan's backstory. I thought it was dope. But I just didn't really give a shit about Sloane. So I don't know if maybe just it felt like a throwaway part. But she was such an interesting character and such an interesting serial killer MO of what she does that I was just like, why are you like making her basic? Like, it felt like her reason was so basic. And I hate to say it because it is a good reason of what she did. I mean, I'm not justifying serial killing here, but of the scenarios that we were given, it was probably the most like, humanitarian related one. But it felt very basic for her. It didn't feel unique enough for the character that we've already gotten to know and create and been created and seen and just seen what she's capable of doing. So I thought it was almost a disservice to give her that backstory, at least right now. I may be like giving it later down the books because I didn't care. I didn't give a shit, actually. I just really cared about how the story was going. So that was the only thing that didn't really sit well with me in the book because it just felt like it was kind of a disservice to her. It didn't really help her any at all. For spice rating, I gave this 3 chili peppers. Loads of sexual tension. It is chock full of it. If you like sexual tension in your romance books, you're going to like this. So powerful. Rowan has this dominance that you don't see coming. You see little glimpses of it, and then it explodes. And yes, absolutely all the way. Can I have some more? Daddy, yes. Please and thank you. With cherries on top. And persimmons. Oh my God. Rowan's dominance. Just... and then conveyed through Joe Arden's Irish brogue. The entire time of this book, I was just smiling the entire time. It was so good. So good. It's awesome. The tension in this book is just palpable, and you can taste it. It's so thick. It's so good. And that first hookup scene, so fucking worth it. It is worth every slow moving, sexualized, start, stop, finish, second thought, glance, fantasy. It's worth it. That moment when Rowan tells her to get out of the bathtub and stop hiding. Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Joe Arden for the motherfucking win. For the motherfucking win. Chapter 17. That shit's on repeat. Hands down. first FTD Bank scene of the year. First one, because that was great. Fingers, tongue, and dick. All three. That was fucking awesome. And it's on repeat. And I did listen to it on repeat multiple times because it hit everything. Not only was it a dope fucking sex scene, it was well worth the fucking wait. It is in the male's perspective. Joe Arden is telling it in an Irish accent. Like, what else could you add to this already perfect fucking cake? What else could you add? Oh, there's a lot. And I'm not going to spoil it for you because you guys need to listen to that one. That is well worth. That whole chapter made this audiobook. Like, Joe Arden and Lucy Rivers did a fan-fucking-tastic job, but that chapter just... I'm glad it's rechargeable. That's all I'm saying. Because I needed it. Yeah, it was good. It was great. It was perfect. And I don't want him to stop. Ever. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. It was so good. Yeah, this thing was a really good fucking time. I was on cloud nine listening to this book. I had such a good time. I'm looking forward to the second one, Leather and Lark. Don't know if I'm going to physically read it or I'm going to listen to the audiobook. Depends on, I think it will be depending on who's narrating it. But yeah, definitely on my radar now. This was fucking dope. Bryn Weaver, her writing, on my fucking radar. Definitely picking up more from her in this series. And she has another series, definitely be checking it out because I like the way this bitch wrote. For sure, yes, without a shadow of a doubt. This thing, hands down, one of the best books I've read this month. Hands down. And I gave it 4 stars. So, yeah. So, good times. That was a fun one. And then later on that week, I completed Game Changer by Abby Glines, the 6th installment to the Field Party series. I'm getting close to finishing this series, guys. Holy shit. Yes. Aren't you proud of me? Yeah, so this one is, yes, like I said, the 6th installment to the Field Party series. We have kind of a ships passing the night kind of trope. Second chance, friends to lovers. We do have some triggers for murder with a hate crime component. Domestic abuse off page, death of a parent from COVID on page, thoughts of a suicide seen on page, suicide off page, first time, and small town. Lot of shit. Lot of heavy fucking triggers in this little bitty book. Holy shit. Abby did it again, and she was not holding back in this one at all. Fuck me. Wow. So, let's get into it. So, we have Asa. We follow Asa and Esmita in this one. Asa is facing his senior year along with finally also standing up to his abusive father. And after an altercation, Asa is kicked out of his house. Well, he's not really kicked out of his house. He leaves and he goes to a bridge where he thinks that he's done. He's going to end it. He's done. He's knocked his dad out cold. He doesn't know if he's going to wake up. He's upset. And while he's at the bridge, we encounter Esmita, who is the daughter of a gas station owner in Lawton and is homeschooled. She's the oldest after her eldest sister committed suicide, and her parents are very, very strict and do not want her leaving to go away to college, even though she has a full ride scholarship that she earned. She runs away one night and runs into Asa at the bridge after he leaves his house after having an altercation with his father. She talks him off the ledge, and they share a moment together. It's not a sexual moment. It's not even a moment of friends. It's just a moment of two people at probably some of their most vulnerable and being there for each other. It's a very, very quick moment. It's very, very small. And then our story jumps to senior year in school. COVID is hit. Asa is living with his grandmother doing online school, and Esmita is in the gas station, but she is finally stood up to her parents enough where they are starting to back off a little bit. We have another time jump where Asa comes back and is now living with his friend Nash because he's not welcome back home. And he runs into Esmita. And through a series of back and forth and up and downs, our hero and heroine learn that choosing themselves is sometimes the only choice you have, even though your heart wants something else. So, what worked? I loved the incorporation of COVID in this one. I was waiting for this series because this series was completed during COVID. I was waiting for an installment to talk about COVID because it's a high school romance. They're all high schoolers. So I knew it was going to happen. And I finally got it. And I really enjoyed the way she incorporated it. She incorporated enough to, excuse me, to make me feel like I was kind of reliving it, but not to the point where I actually was. So she did a really good job of balancing that kind of trigger that, not that I have a problem with it. I actually worked the entire time during the COVID shutdown, so I didn't actually realize what it felt like for most people. So, but it was utilized enough where I wasn't annoyed by it. Like I have with some other books that have featured COVID in it. So I really like the way she handled it as well, which lends to her writing ability because this woman throughout the entire of this series, she handles really dark issues. And this one is no exception. I mean, this one, we're pulling out all the stops. We have suicide, attempted suicide, overbearing, controlling parents, domestic violence, hate crime that results in a murder, loss of a classmate, death of a parent, like all these heavy hitting issues. And yet she still handles all these topics with dignity, with care, with tact. And yet you still feel yourself hoping. With all of the dark that's in this book, all the dark, you never get lost in it. You never feel lost. When she was talking about COVID and when we see people dying from COVID, when we see a student getting shot because he's protecting his friend, and the only reason he was being shot, his friend was being shot at, was because of the color of his skin. We see all these heavy hitting issues, real fucking issues, and we're not getting depressed by it and bogged down and weighed down and made to feel like this is the only thing that's out there. She writes all of these dark things with this little line, this little sliver of hope that for some reason, the way she writes it, you cling to it. And that's all you see. You only see the bright light at the end of the tunnel, that you see that, okay, they're going through some hard stuff right now, but they're going to get through. She has done such a good job throughout the entire of the series with this technique. And she does it flawlessly in this one because she does it multiple fucking times over with multiple different issues. So I just applaud her with that. It was just exquisitely done in this book. Exquisitely done. Another thing I really enjoyed about this book is that she makes teenagers. They're not overly mature. Yes, there are some times we might be like slightly overly mature, but we have to, she wants to appeal to more people than just fucking teenagers. But in this installment, we see two teenagers really want each other, but know that they're both going to different places. And we see that struggle on both sides, wanting to be with this person, but knowing that they're just going to get hurt down the road because their time together is limited. So let's agree to just have fun. And we all know how well that fucking works out, And it was so nice to see teenagers being fucking teenagers. Abby Gline does a really good job of showing teenagers as teenagers, even though she puts them in kind of heavier hitting scenarios. She shows that bridge of teen to adult really, really well, where sometimes they nail it and sometimes they don't. And in this book, we get to see them not nail it as much as we have in other series. But that's normal for teenagers. They're still learning. They're still going into the back and forth. And it was really nice to see that. Now, do I want to read about teen angst all the fucking time? Absolutely not. No, I don't. Teen angst sucks. Because a lot of teenagers suck. Let's be honest. We all made stupid choices when we were teenagers. But it was nice to know that sometimes we made the right choices. And it's in this installment that you really get to see that. You get to see the wrong and the right. You get to see the teenager come out on top because they made the adult choice because they were ready to make the adult choice and they listened to themselves. it was just really cool. I fucking enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very, very much. It was nice to see. And for the first time in this series, and this is going to be a spoiler, so I do apologize, but you should probably know that this does not end with an HEA. I have a book that does not end in an HEA, and I do not care that it didn't end in an HEA because the way it ended was awesome. I really fucking like that. I like that. It still, even though it didn't end with a happy ending, a happily ever after for our couple, it ended on hope. It ended on maybe one day coming back and seeing what could be, you know. This book gave me that hope that high school gave me. Every book in this installment in this series has given me that feeling, but this one reminded me of my story. And finally having to stop the back and forth because it wasn't working anymore. And finally remembering that sometimes choosing yourself, choosing what you need and what you want, that's a happy ending in and of itself. And I thought that was great. I thought it was really gutsy, seeing that this was very close to being the last book of the series because her 7th book, the actual final book of the series, only came out last year, I think. Last year it did. So for a long time, this was the last installment. So that's how she ended the series. I was like, what? No. There's no way you actually did that. But she did. And I thought it was really, really gutsy. It was very reminiscent of the true back and forth that goes on through teenagers in relationships. This back and forth of, yes, we belong together. I want to be with you, but we shouldn't be because we're going to different places. But, oh, yes, we could totally make it work. No, we really can't. Are we really going to do that? We're fucking 17 and 18. Are we really going to be that honest? Let's be honest with each other. We're not going to do this. But I really want you right now, so let's hook up one more time and regurgitate all this. This is all of it, back and forth, to finally see them make the choice to choose themselves was awesome. Even though I didn't get a happy ending, I got a happy ending alone instead of together. And that wasn't that bad. I really enjoyed the first time experience in this story. But because we have a first time in this book, I love that they knew enough about each other that they knew they need to do that. That was something that had to happen especially for Esmita, because it's Esmita's first time, not Asa's. I enjoyed the fact that she knew that she wanted it to be him, even though they weren't really together and they couldn't really be together because they were going off to different places. I love the fact that she still wanted him. And she didn't regret it. She didn't regret her choice. She chose the man she wanted to be for her first, and she didn't regret it, even though all the factors were against them. And it was probably one of the most accurate first times I've read in a while, because it ended the same way a lot of first times I know do. They don't end up together. They have a conversation maybe that shouldn't have happened. One half thinks it shouldn't happen. The other half thinks I made the right choice. And then you have this special moment that's now kind of soured. And a lot of girls know what that feels like. So not only did she handle extremely dark, heavy-hitting, triggery topics, she also handled real instances so well that I was okay with it. I was okay with how the book read and how it played out and all fell out in the end. I couldn't have asked for anything better. She did a great job with this installment. She did a fucking bang-ass job. Now, however, there were some things in this book that don't work. Asa needs fucking therapy, okay? He does not need to go off to college and play fucking football. He needs some goddamn therapy. Like, legit. He needs to talk to somebody. And I kind of wish that she would have maybe had him seek out some counseling, just to kind of further cement that, talking to people is not crazy. When you have severe trauma like he went through, talking with a licensed counselor, talking with someone who's trained to handle these kind of issues is a healthy option. I kind of wish, because she was showing the teenagers make the right choice after struggling so long with it, finally deciding that I'm going to choose me. I kind of would have liked her to do that with Asa. So you could have seen both sides, not just Esmita making the right call, but also Asa kind of making the right call for his own personal growth and personal development. Because he went through the ringer in this one. He did. He went through the fucking ringer. Holy shit. Yeah, he did. So it would have been nice to see that played out. I think it would have just strengthened this novel. I think it would have strengthened it far more. And also, I put this as what didn't work, but it actually kind of worked, because in the end, I enjoyed the fact that she showed me how stupid teenagers are. Just reminded me how stupid they are. Like, I got reminded of some of the stupid decisions I made, because some of the decisions in this book I made. I'm guilty of some of the choices in this book. So it was a little humbling to be reminded of some of those stupid choices, because I have a teenage daughter. So it's like, oh, thanks for that. Appreciate it. That's what's coming down the pike here soon. Fantastic. Fuck. Yeah. So it didn't necessarily not work. It just reminded me of what's to come. And I'm just like, shit, I already been through this once. I don't want to have to go through this again. Shit. As for a spice scale, I only gave this a 1 chili pepper. We do have a really nice heavy petting scene that alludes to much more. And then we do have the 1 fade to black scene. It's very sweet and very romantic, but it does get soured after, because that's kind of the way that sometimes first times happen. They're sweet and romantic when they go through it, but then in the light of day and not hormonal minded men and women take over, and then conversations happen that, yeah, we all know how that goes. So I gave it 1 chili pepper. In the end, I gave this book 4 stars. So I had a really good time with it, and I'm really excited to finish up the series. I'm very, very excited to see how it all flushes out in the end. So, yep, it was a good one. The next book I completed was Diana Gabaldon's Outlander. I'm reading this for the Great Outlander Read Along. I did have it done by the live show. I wasn't participating in it because I ended up having a big family dinner that night. And so I wasn't able to be there, but I have watched it back since. It was awesome. Congratulations, ladies. It was a great live show, and I look forward to the next ones in the future. But this is the first installment to the Outlander series by Diana Gabaldon. This is my favorite book. I talk about this book nonstop. If you don't know what this book is, it is following Jamie Fraser and Claire Randall. Claire Randall is a nurse during World War II that falls through some stones while she's on like a honeymoon into 1743. I always get that wrong. 1743 Scotland during the Scottish uprising of the clans. And she needs to marry Jamie Fraser to save her life because she's English and they think she's a spy. So to keep her on their side, they marry her off, and Jamie is the king among men. And then we proceed to go through the saga that is Outlander. So yes, I will have a full reading vlog of this coming up. I'm in the process of putting it together, so you will see it soon. But it just I have to put it all together, and vlogs take me forever to put together. So, but it is done. I just got to put it together and get it uploaded. So, yep, there you go. 5 stars, of course, favorite book. And then I continued my read of Christina Marziada's Ghost. This is the 3rd installment to the Love Letting series, and I am still having a fantastic time with this. However, there was a moment in this book that has now happened, and I'm very, very angry because what I want to happen is not happening. It's not. Instead, I'm getting scared. I'm feeling very targeted. And, Marshall fucking Tillman better get his shit together. Making me angry. It's making me very, very angry. Yep. Very, very frustrated. And there was a point in this book I had to reread it about 4 times because I could have sworn that she turned her main character into a horse. She does not. But the way that it read, I thought she turned my man into a fucking horse. And I was like, what kind of voodoo witchcraft did you just fucking do? You did not, but I thought you did because of the way it was written. So I was like, huh. Now you're throwing curveballs at me. That's fucking great. I don't play baseball. Rude. So, but I am having still a fantastic time with this. Fantastic time. Christina, I still love you. And don't be turning anybody into horses. I know you like them. I know how much you love your horses, but please don't turn my man into a horse. Please don't. Because I really thought you did at first. I was like, did she just turn him into a fucking horse? The fuck? But he didn't. He did it. But it was a funny moment. It was a funny moment. I wish I had it on camera. Because it was worth it. That face was worth it. Just so you know. But that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you enjoy this, and I will see you guys all soon with another video. Keep your eyes peeled for week 8. It'll be coming up to you earlier this week. So yes, I know this is kind of behind schedule, but we'll get you on schedules here soon. So I will talk to you guys all later. Bye, guys.